My name is Hillary Wool, and I'm a partner at Boston Consulting Group. Throughout my career, I have had a passion for empowering transformation, whether individuals, teams, or organizations. So I think that's probably the common theme. I started my career with an organization called Teach for America that serves low-income public school students. So I was a high school teacher, and then I led TFA's teacher recruitment efforts across New York State, so building capacity for our education system. And I pivoted to management consulting after that, as I wanted to support change management efforts in organizations across industries. So scaling up, some of the themes that I had worked on during my time in nonprofit. And now I work at the intersection of healthcare and government, serving clients on large-scale change initiatives, modernization, digital strategy, improving service for constituents. I'll start off within my organization. So at BCG, about 5 years ago, I co-founded Accessibility at BCG, which is an employee resource group supporting staff members across disability, chronic illness, neurodiversity, and mental health. After acquiring a disability about a year into my time at BCG, I recognized an unmet need for support and resources in community, along with some of my colleagues, and we've worked to build that. So there's an amazing team across the world at BCG driving this, and today we are a global network, about 1,700 plus employees strong across the company. And building off of that, a few years down the line, we really wanted to use our position to promote change in the business world in terms of disability inclusion. And in 2023, I was honored to serve as lead author on a global report on disability workplace inclusion. So that was based on 28,000 employees around the world. And we got some really interesting insights on just the experience of the disabled workforce, what some of the big gaps and challenges are, and most importantly, what can be done to close those gaps. They're not inevitable. So that was a really powerful experience, and I've appreciated the opportunity to speak at different conferences and gatherings about some of that work. And then outside of BCG, I just love being a part of and representing our community. So I'm also a disabled model on the side. As a mobility aid user, I love engaging in shoots and campaigns. I've done campaigns for brands like Target and Amazon and Marshalls. And then on the side, I'm also involved in paratriathlon as a wheelchair athlete. So I have been engaged with a couple of incredible adaptive sports organizations through that, always trying to get faster along the way. And so I think overall, just promoting holistic access and representation for disabled talent, whether that's in business, in media, or in fitness. Love it all. So when it comes to products and services, as well as the employee experience, I think it's pivotal to really understand and make investments in disability and disabled stakeholders, end to end, right? Whether that's from designing to launching and marketing a product, whether that's from recruiting to thinking about retention and promotion of leaders in your organization. That it's a massive group of employees and consumers. Our research found that about 1 in 4 employees at large companies around the world have some sort of disability or health condition limiting one or more major life activities. So it's not an insignificant population, whether you're thinking about your workforce or whether you're thinking about the people who are using or buying your products and services. So I think on the employee side, using data and engaging with your disabled employees directly to drive interventions and policies that improve the experience and just improve, again, opportunities for promotion, for taking on meaningful roles. In our work, we saw that across the board. A few strategies can really move the needle and close gaps for employees with disabilities across every country. Despite people with disabilities having a worse workplace experience in every country that we surveyed, we found that developing what we call an employee-centric ecosystem, so thinking about a chief diversity officer, thinking about having employee resource groups, across diverse groups, programming, flexible work options, benefits that support people with different, backgrounds and family needs, right? All of that, really critical. The second, mentorship. Even having a mentor who doesn't have a disability, right, who might not share your particular background, really makes a difference in terms of retention and employee experience. And then lastly, just setting up user-friendly systems for reasonable accommodations. So that's workplace adjustments that allow people with disabilities to just do their jobs, do the essential functions of their jobs. But it can be challenging in some organizations to access them. There can be stigmas around them. And so just making it as user-friendly and kind of normalizing that so that people can ultimately contribute as much as they possibly can without the stress of, getting their needs met. So I think for employees, those are just some of what we found can really drastically change the experience of disabled workers, and ultimately, benefits all employees in a company. It benefits the organization. So certainly win-win. First and foremost, for people with disabilities working day in, day out in the business world, in the corporate world, I think just being a person with a disability, whether visible or invisible in the business world, is radical in and of itself. Large organizations, large companies weren't necessarily designed with disabled workers in mind, and so I think just first acknowledging that, and for everyone who is, just doing their best to make an impact in their organizations, to advance in their careers despite those challenges, just, that you are seen and that you're doing great work. And I think more broadly, just recognizing that people with disabilities and chronic illnesses, experiences with neurodiversity, there are just so many valuable perspectives and skills that come from that lived experience: creativity, problem solving, empathy, understanding how to engage with others, a sense of resilience. And I think that sometimes is under recognized, like, promoting inclusion, right? It's seen as charitable. It's seen as, again, social impact oriented, but this is a community that has just so many strengths to offer to the business world, especially during times of challenge, during times when there's not an easy path or an easy answer, and we know that having different perspectives on teams, right, building products, solving problems leads to the best outcomes. It leads to better, profitability and all of that. So I think just for, leaders and hiring managers out there, just recognizing that, that truth really, and working to just see and value and, provide opportunities to disabled employees around the world. Super important.